couple weeks ago, we were out working, and Lonnie and I stopped at this bar. They got great sandwiches. We neither one of us drink, so it's not a thing. And this guy who's sitting at the bar, he is drunk. He gets up. He says, "Where's the bathroom?" Bartender says, "Right over there, the second door on the left." He goes in there. Man, all of a sudden, he ain't no more in there but a couple seconds. He said, and all of a sudden, and you can hear this scream that is unreal. Everybody in there is like, "What was that?" About 10 seconds later, another scream. So we're like, starting to freak out a little bit. Bartender walks around the bar. He walks in there. He opens the door. He says, "What's going on in there?" He said, "Man," he said, "every time I try to flush the toilet, something reaches up and grabs my junk and squeezes it." He goes, and I'm about ready to get sick. Bartender kicks the door open to the bathroom stall and says, "You idiot, you're sitting on a mop bucket." Hello. A number of people have asked what's going on with the wine production, and I'm going to bring everybody up to date. What we've done is move the production down to the shop. This is the shop. It's the handyman shop. And this morning, we're getting ready to run probably 2 batches right now, and then I'll probably start another batch in a couple of days. This is Memorial Day weekend coming up. And I've had a sanitizing agent. You can see here. Cleaning all the stuff I'm going to use. I've cleaned the bottles. I spent a couple hours cleaning, actually. And I'll take you over here into the... This is an old cooler that was an office, and we've changed it around to make it a production shop. There's some apple. I think we only got a couple bottles of that left. The first 80 bottles that I made have been consumed. Early on, it was a process of just figuring out what works, what tastes good. The very first production I made was hooch wine. There was a video where I just used basically juice that you buy at the store, 100% juice, no added ingredients or anything, and just bread, yeast, and it actually tastes pretty good. A lot of people tested it. There was some that didn't work. Watermelon didn't work, but the grape, I learned that the grape juice is by far the best for fermentation. From my unofficial testing, I was able to get the best results when I added grape to them. So our house wine is spelled Haus. It's a blend of cherry, grape, and some pear. Pear has paraffin in it naturally, and that controls the fermentation. It's again, I'm not a scientist, and I by far am no pro at this, but it seems to control the fermentation and using specific gravity in different ways. And I have a meter that tests, a hydrometer that tests the alcohol levels. It seems to come up more consistent and a lot smoother when it gets into its fermentation stage. That's a lot of talk. It probably doesn't interest a lot of people, but I'm going to go through the process of how I make it. So, as I just said, I've been sanitizing this morning. The sanitation process I use is these tablets, mix it with warm water, and it sterilizes everything. I tested it several times. The bottles are clean. I'm going to rinse off the tools I'm going to use and get ready. I'll take you in there and I'll show you exactly how I mix it. With the sanitizer, you want to make sure that you get it rinsed really well. Ironically enough, the sanitizer, it kills bacteria and different things, but it'll also nullify or kill your yeast. So everything gets rinsed off real well. I'm gonna set you guys up over here and show you how I add the stuff. So as you can see here, I have 4 gallons of water, which is a little bit more than I need because the juice that I get it's a concentrate. And it's mixed Well, it's a proprietary secret, I guess. I have came up with the different formulas. Someday I'll probably put it in writing. But I've learned through my vast knowledge as a high school graduate of a Cincinnati public school, the different things that are required to each reach the specific gravity that I need. Again, it's kind of boring, but here is the mix. This is going to be blackberry, and it's a little over a gallon. Again, the ounces are proprietary secret, I guess, but I'm going to add it to this carboy through the funnel that I had sanitized. I've strained the seeds and different things out of it. And ironically enough, I don't like wine. I really don't. But I have a spouse who does, and I get the way I quality control it, I guess the best way to say it, is by taste before it's brewed. After that, I leave it up to other people because it's just not my thing. So anyway, I'm going to add that to it, and I guess I can do it on the camera. Ugh. This thing's heavy. So it's going in there. And to give you some idea about the taste and whatnot, I compare it to blackberry syrup, like old school syrup, like when they used real sugar. These blackberries, however, this batch here did not require nowhere near the amount of sugar my first one did. This one is super sweet, and I don't think it has anything to do with me being like on a keto diet. But I have learned that the specific gravity does change with sweetness, in my opinion. Again, I'm not an expert in this. I'm by far an expert. But having pre-measured everything out and getting the numbers right, as you can tell, it's thick. Like it sticks to a glass. It looks like a rose glass or whatever. But this is a clear bottle. There's still some in the bottom. And to make sure that I get my money's worth out of these syrups, I always, like, I'll take this bottle, I'll fill it full of the water that I'm going to mix with it, and rinse it out real good so that I get all of the syrup. So I'm going to do that real quick, and I'll be right back. So I put the water in there. You can see, shaking it up. I get most of the syrup back off the walls. I call it syrup. It's just juice. It's sweetened juice and a blend of different things to get it. It's probably a minimum of 80% blackberry juice, straight out of the blackberries getting squeezed, minus the seeds and the stems and whatnot that comes with it. But mix it with water. Now I'll pour this in there, and then I'll start adding the water to it, and I'll do it slow because once I get this in there, I have to put the yeast on the top of it, and then I stir it up, and that's the last time you can shake it, honestly. You have to put it where it's going to go and put the burping device on it. And then probably within three days, most of my stuff will start burping in a day. The experts and all the information you get on it will say within 3 days, but mine starts burping within a day. And I don't know if it's because of the stuff I use, the sugar content in it or whatever, but I don't know. But I just keep shaking this up, make sure I get all the juice. I'll pour it in here, then I'll start adding the water and check the specific gravity. Okay, I got that in there, and now it's time to add the water. This stainless steel funnel and this bucket that I've already measured the amount of water in it. Another thing too, a lot of people, they use different types of water. Here in Cincinnati, which is where I'm making this, I have learned that our water is really good quality, actually. And I put the water in the bucket. I let it sit for a day or whatever. It gets funneled. It gets filtered. Um, there isn't a whole lot of science in that, I don't think. But I had it slow because, as you can tell, with that funnel in the middle of it, it seems to do a really good job of stirring it up. Again, I'll check the specific gravity, the different things that are involved with that, and I'll know within 20 minutes as to whether or not it has any more conditioning that needs to be done to it. But I have yet to, with the hooch stuff, I had to condition it quite a bit. I mean, I think that's why it's called hooch. But to get the flavor and the taste of the wine that I achieved the last time, I'm going to do the same thing I did again. We have nobody that didn't like the blackberry or the house wine. The house wine, like I said, is cherry, pear, and some white grape juice that makes that flavor. The blackberry, we're actually going to call that Brombeere Wein, which is German for blackberry wine, but it just sounds good. And once I get the water in here, check the specific gravity. If it all checks out, I get it where I need it to be. I don't use the standard numbers for specific gravity, and I don't know why. When I did it the way that it's explained in different videos and whatnot, you don't think a tenth would really matter, but I think it does. And what I've made, I think reflects the difference. So I try to take the quality up. We keep the price down. These bottles are going for 15 bucks a bottle. We're gonna have these labeled this time. But yeah, let me check the specific gravity on this. I won't do that on camera. And then as soon as I get that done, we'll spread the yeast and get it ready to burp, and then I'll start another batch. Okay, tested good. I'm gonna put the yeast in it. I'll put the yeast in it, then I'll shake it to disperse it evenly. I'll spread it across the top and then get it emulsified in there. And then once that happens, I'll put the topper on it, set it up on the top rack here, and we'll get it ready to go. There will be, let's see, this batch right here will produce about 25 to 26 bottles. So I'm gonna put the yeast in there and be right back. Or here, you can watch that probably. The hard part on putting this in there is not getting it on the bottle, which you'll see here in just a second. See how it spreads out on the top there? I'll give it a couple minutes of that. Then I'll stir it. Once it's stirred, once you put it in place, that's it. There is no more. You can't redo it. Can't shake it. You can't. It's called pitching the yeast, and I don't know why, honestly. I think because when they do this in large vats, they pitch it across the top of it. So, but I'm gonna get this shook up and cap it and get ready to do another batch. So as you can tell, it's mixed in there well. You see it swimming around a little bit. And I'll get it topped, put the burper on it, and then it'll be ready to go. Yeah, so there it is. Set up on the top there. Got the burper in there. Basically, the burper is just the CO2 that comes off of it as the yeast. The yeast consumes the sugar, and the byproduct of that is alcohol and CO2. So the CO2 needs to burp off, or this thing would pressurize itself and make a mess. The air goes up through the neck, and the two bodies of water allow the gas to pass through, but they don't allow outside air to get in it. So it won't receive any outside air other than bottling through its whole process. So I'm going to mix up another batch, get it up on the rack, get it up there. I call that racking because I rack myself to get it up there, you know what I mean? The water's already been ready. I'm just going to mix it up, put the stuff in it, get the yeast, test it, and get it ready. You know, while I'm cutting this one, I don't say it enough. I don't know that I've said it on here at all, but I know that you guys enjoy the videos, you enjoy the cutting up and whatnot. I do. But there's things that you don't see. You don't see the frustration that we run into when we continue to beat our heads against the wall dealing with banks. Blackberry. Dang, that's good. And you don't see the countless hours that my wife puts in. I mean, we share the responsibility of the videos and the editing and different things. But she has started a process of, she decided to pick up a lot of the load of what little bit of debt we have left. And we're trying to get debt free before we get into this build. It's a huge, huge task to take on, to say the least. A lot of you who know what it's like to carry debt also know how nice it is to not have to have it, you know. And we have approximately maybe 6 months of, you know, putting our back against the wall or putting our back up to it and getting to work and shaking it up, you know, and getting it done. And the videos that you see in the past where it's just me, or it's me and Lonnie, or me and Josh, or something like that, that's because she stayed home. She enjoys being there as much as I do, for sure, if not more. But she stays home, picks up extra shifts, works extra hours. She started working at it's called priority care, but most people would know it as an urgent care. And those people are a great group of people, don't get me wrong, but she has picked up these extra shifts and extra hours, and it has nothing to do with the venue per se, but it has everything to do with the venue. She comes home tired. Today is a good example. Today she went in at 7:30, and if she's home by 8, we're happy. 8 o'clock tonight. She picks up multiple 12-hour shifts. Now, granted, we got our number 3 son is getting married. So we got a little bit of expense for that, but her dedication to this process isn't always going to be seen on this film, and it's not going to be known to everyone. So that's why I'm taking a minute to put it on here. The effort and the extra shifts that she works is solely so when we make our move, we're not bringing a bunch of debt down with us. She comes in exhausted, but you know, she comes in 8 o'clock at night. We spend a couple hours chatting as we fall asleep. And then the 1 or 2 days that she's only working what she calls a half a day, which is 8 hours. On those couple days, she makes all the meals she's going to have for lunch and supper or whatever it was. She's at work, loads her break. I mean, how many of us go to work and take all 3 meals with us? You know, not many. She does. But I just want to take a moment to recognize her and the efforts that she puts into this, because without her, there would be no SpringHaus Farm. The name came from her, you know. It's a shared vision that we have, and we have shared dedication, but, you know, my effort and dedication is oftentimes seen on this channel. hers is never seen on this channel. And the amount of people that she helps and touches and is a part of their life in a positive way. She's there when people are the happiest days of their lives, like having a baby. And she's there on the saddest days of their life when they broke their leg cleaning their gutters or something, you know what I mean? But I do want to take a moment to recognize her, because without her, this channel doesn't exist. That's a fact. A huge part of what I am and what I do is solely from her, 100%. And I want to take a moment to recognize her and thank her for all of her hard work that she does that you see, but more importantly, all the hard work that nobody sees, and only I see. Our kids don't even see it. That's kind of a good thing and a bad thing, I guess, in both ways. But and all of our boys, they get their work ethic and stuff from her. I mean, she's a trooper, to say the least. You know, we just had Nurses Week or month or whatever, and there's a month for everything anymore, it seems like. But she 100% doesn't get the recognition she needs. So I'll take a couple minutes and give it to her. So if you'd like to add to that, just put a comment down below, and we'll have another video after it gets time to buy all this stuff, and we'll have a couple taste testers. So once again, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for being a part of our dream. You guys help a ton by watching this. I know we don't make money, period, on this, but it spreads the words. Spreads the word, not words. So, and people are finding out about us. The channel's growing. I think at this point we have, I don't know, 40 subscribers or something. Share it with your friends. If you like this, share it with your friends. If you don't, quit watching it. But share it with your friends, like it, that helps. Subscribe so you know when new videos are coming out, blah, 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 all that. And I hope you guys have a great week.